welcome. Thanks for coming. This is being sponsored by the Friends of Pownal, and some people may not know what the Friends of Pownal is. It's a small Vermont not-for-profit that's specifically designed for this community. Its purpose is to provide historical and educational materials to, and to foster communication and understanding among, and civic pride in the residents of the town of Pownal. In past years, in line with our, come on in and sit down. In line with our historical and educational focus, the organization has provided funds for the purchase of digital projectors in each of the classrooms here at the school, playground equipment for Oak Hill Children's Center. We worked with the Historical Society around the many 250th anniversary celebration and activities. Most recently, we provided a $1,200 matching grant to raise funds for the Harvest for Kids, which is a program that extends the summer food lunch program for the students into August. In fostering communication and understanding and civic pride, we've provided funds for the food at both the Empower Pownal meetings in the summer and the Economic Development Committee's first Business Network event at the American Legion. In the past, we have sponsored non-partisan candidate events, which brings us to this evening's Meet and Greet the Candidates event. For those of you who don't know, the invitation sort of set the parameters for the evening. Each candidate running for office is invited to speak for no more than 3 minutes and to share with us why they are running for office, what, if any, service they have provided to the town in the past, what skills they bring to their position, and what their aspirations and goals are if elected. In fairness to all the candidates, we will adhere to the time limits, so there will be ample time to chat with the candidates during the last half of our evening. So after all the candidates have finished presenting, we'll end the meeting, we'll bring out some snacks, and then people can just mill around and visit with whoever they want to chat with and ask questions. Before we begin, we would like to thank Cat TV for videotaping this event and making it available for those who cannot attend this evening. Candidates who themselves could not attend this evening were offered the opportunity to submit their statements to be read. Bob Jarvis is out of town on a business trip, and his wife Anne Marie will read his statement. Bruce Martell is unable to attend for health reason, and I will read his statement. The other two candidates who are not able to be here did not submit a statement. Angela Rawlings is not here because of family medical issues. David Lowe has agreed to be the moderator. Candidates are going to speak in the order in which they appear on the ballot. So you'll get to hear the candidates running for the same office, one right after the other. So that the candidates sort of know when to expect to speak, I'll just call out right now what that sequence is if you haven't seen the ballot. Come on up. There's a couple empty chairs over here. There's some over here. Much to Julie's chagrin, she is the first speaker for town clerk. Then the treasurer's position, Priscilla Maxim and Ellen Strohmeyer. Then the 3-year select people, Susan Kierman, Michael George, and Anne Marie will speak for Bob Jarvis. Then the 1-year selectmen, Ron Besson, then Jenny Dewar, Brandon Jacobson, I don't think is here. Am I wrong? No, okay. And Bruce Martell. Then the lister, Tammy Soule, the school directors, Cindy Brownell and Angie Rawlings, and then Nelson Brownell will speak as the MAU, he's going to be running for the MAU board. So at this point, I'm going to invite anybody who's standing in the back who wants a seat to come up, and then I'm going to turn this over to Dave. There's no mic here. However, there is a mic on that camera that picks up information, the sound well in the room. So if you start talking to each other, it's probably going to get recorded. Just be forewarned. Okay? So
But
I'm going to...
Jim, are we okay in terms of your picking us up?
We are perfect.
Okay. And for the candidates, you've got the 3 minutes, and Ruth Botso is going to hold up a sign when you've got 30 seconds left. you know, we're not going to stop you mid-sentence, but when the 3 minutes are up, we're going to tell you, you know, to wrap it up. Let me see, was there?
You'll
Oh,
be
and I would
discreet
like-
and soft and gentle unless somebody goes well over, and then you're going to jump in.
Right, we'll do a dance. One other thing, since it's the Friends of Pownal that is presenting this, I'd like to introduce the board members of the organization who are present. I'm the president of the board. Jimmy Winchester is on our board. Ruth Botso is our secretary. And Jim Boutin is the assistant chair, and he is out of town, unable to be here tonight. Okay, so enjoy.
So I'm still scratching my head as to what qualifies me to be moderator, but I'm happy to do so, what Rosemarie called, in the interest of broadening participation in this process. I also thought maybe I could try to remember how to tie a necktie after some number of years. I'm not sure I have it in good shape, but it was sort of fun to try anyway. Two notes from me, moderator's notes before beginning. One is on gratitude, and first, obviously, thanks to Friends of Pownal, not only for this, but for all of the great things that you've done to support important local causes over the years. I think we are all indebted to people in the community who step up to the plate of serving the town. As in any small community, we depend on the goodwill, the dedication of citizens to oversee the operations of the town and to chart its future. Those of us on the sidelines, and that's many of us, are grateful to those of you who have put yourself forward with courage and commitment to represent us. We thank the select board members who are finishing their terms. We thank those of you who are now putting yourself forward for select board and other positions in the upcoming elections. Thanks from all of us in the community, indeed. And a quick note on civic responsibility as we move forward with yet another season of town meetings and elections. We would do well to keep in mind that while there is a good deal of understandable frustration about gridlock and lack of civility in Washington, it is up to us at the local level to make sure that democracy works. We can best take care of our town by staying informed and involved, by listening carefully to each other's opinions, and seeking thoughtful compromise as we go about the task of forging the future path for Pownal. Individual and collective efforts in small towns like ours may just be the best hope for keeping America great, and we all have a stake in that. So thank you all for being here. Thanks again to candidates past, retiring, finishing, those upcoming. We will proceed as Rosemarie has instructed us, and you're ready to time. And Julie, I'm sorry that you're the first, but that's the way it goes. Julie Weber. You can stand or sit, whatever you're more comfortable doing.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Julie Weber, and I'm running for town clerk. I have been assistant town clerk for the last 4 years. I've worked alone this past year as to Karen being sick. I work with a lot of attorneys and title researchers and help with that. I've been working and cleaning out the vault to make more room for more records and stuff to preserve. I am very shy, believe it or not. I've lived in Pownal for 44 years. I did rescue squad for 6 years. I've been on the Pownal Planning Commission and the Pownal DRB, which is Development Review Board, for 14 years. I served on the Pownal Recreation Implementation Committee and the Domestic Animal Committee when I first started a while ago. I worked for Dr. Elprin, which at the skin clinic for the 10 years until I had to take time off to work at the town office. I'm trying to become a fully certified town clerk. I've done numerous town trainings. I've been to New Hampshire, Rutland, Stowe, Killington, to do various trainings. I've done 2 elections by myself, well, not literally, but with help of some people. But I did the March one with a recount, and then we had to do the Act 46 for the school merger with a recount. So I'm anticipating after this March one that we will have to do a recount because to keep it going. Hopefully not, but I'm a member of the Town Clerks and Municipal Association. I've done, let's see, a lot of community work. I also bartend at the American Legion and have been for 15 years. So I can multitask because of doing all my various jobs together for numerous years. I always, I try to smile. I don't always succeed. I think I'm very well organized for my record keeping to do all the various stuff. So I know I need more training on public communications, but I'm not used to talking to a bunch of people. I'm okay with a few, but a full group.
The good news is your time is up, so you plan to do much more. Priscilla Maxon.
Hello, everyone. My name is Priscilla Maxon. I'm running for the town treasurer. I'm fairly new to Pownal. I moved here 2 years ago. Myself and my boyfriend, we purchased the former Barlow gravel pit. So my goals for running for town treasurer would be to promote good financial standards, transparency, and precise financial reporting. I know the importance of the job and the detail and accuracy that is required. And most of all, I would be helpful to serve the public, and I would serve them with dignity and respect. And most importantly, several town residents have conveyed to me that there's been some financial irregularities within the local government. And my first priority would be to improve communication with coworkers, the select board, and town residents. I would ensure that reports are filed correctly and on time. I would look at the position with a fresh eye and determine what the financial concerns are. I feel as a town, we can prosper, and prosperity is not just wealth, it includes happiness, health, and social awareness amongst its community. I've only been here 2 years. I've not done community work in the town of Pownal, but I have in the past. I served as an assessor with the town of Berlin for 12 years. I was elected for 3 terms consecutively. I hold an associate's degree in paralegal studies, business management. I'm a certified notary public. I'm a certified financial specialist, that's where I work for Shires Housing, which is affordable housing. We do tax credit housing. So that's where that certified financial specialist falls in. I'm a former H&R Block tax preparer. I own my own business. It's Maxon Trucking Limited, which again is the former Barlow pit. And as the owner, business manager of Maxon Trucking, I'm responsible for adhering to several state, federal, and local filings and permits. So I'm familiar with filings, paperwork, IRS forms, any form imaginable. I communicate with agencies such as New York State and Vermont Department of Taxes, Division of Corporations, Highway Use Tax, International Fuel Tax, several outside agencies. I feel I'm detail-oriented, organized, and timely. I understand the legal legalities that come with such a position and capable of handling figures and large sums of cash. Most importantly, I feel I'm honest and hardworking, and I would appreciate your vote.
Hi.
Have fun.
I will, thank you. Hi, I'm Ellen Strohmeyer, and I am rerunning for treasurer. I've been your treasurer for 18 years. I have been with the town of Pownal since 1990. I was delinquent tax collector for the first 10 and the second 18 with the treasurer's position. I am audited on a yearly basis. We went through the wastewater facility project, and I have had all clean audits. There has been no questions on my financial statements. Any questions arising have nothing to do with the treasurer's position and their financial statements. That is in the minutes of the select board if anybody wants to question that. I appreciate anybody's questions later on. I also am not great at speaking in public. Let's see. I started my education as an accountant at 15, doing my family's farm dairy books, and I still do them. I do all their payroll and quarterly, yearly reports, their W-2s. I also do that with the town of Pownal. We use the NEMRIC system. I'm very familiar with that. I am the treasurer for the Career Development Center at the high school. I'm treasurer, started in 2017, October of 2017 for the Pownal Valley Fire Department. I am their treasurer. I was asked to be their treasurer. And I'm on the Pownal Rescue Squad. I started that in 2017. Let's see, I'm almost at 30 seconds.
You don't have to go.
No, I'm working on that. My goals, are to still work with the community and work on more anything that the community wants. I mean, we all work together. Anybody that runs for a town official, you have to have the goal to work together with your other public and hired people that work for the town of Pownal and the townspeople. Listen to everyone and just have an open mind and stay positive. I mean, that's the big goal in anything working for the public, and anyone that wants to try to do that, I think it's great. And the more people that try, the better Pownal will be. So I thank you, and I have been a Pownal resident since birth, which is 54 years. So just to let you know. All right, thank you.
Suzanne.
I got you beat, Ellen. I got 66 years.
Wow. Who knew we were going to be so transparent?
In this job, you have to be very transparent. Everybody knows everything about you, so why not come out and say I'm 66 years old? I'm Sue Kierman. My family's been devoted to the town of Pownal for many, many years in very many positions. I'm currently running for the 3-year position on the select board. I kind of got into the select board a year and a half ago when somebody resigned from the board. And at the time I thought maybe some of my administrative abilities would help the town. Get on, don't say that because you're going to do all the work. And I have helped the town. I think I've helped the town quite a bit. I took the lead on helping us find a new webmaster for our website, and that's up and running, and I'm hearing all great things about the website, so you should go on to the website, www.townofpownal.org. I've taken the lead on doing the research and accomplishing the tasks necessary to fill the town administrator position. I've been working at Bennington College for the past 26 years, and I've done several job searches and interview processes and reference checks and everything on people, so I felt that I could take that on. And I've worked with the Vermont Leagues of Cities and Towns to help form the job description and the ad for the newspaper, which just went out. You can go to our website, it's on the website, and we're taking applications. Well, actually, we're taking confidential resumes until March 19th. Then the board has, sorry, I'm nervous too. The board has agreed to form a smaller committee instead of the select board deciding, We want 3 members of the community to join our board and 2 select board members to form a hiring committee. They will have the applications, pick through the ones that they want to interview, and then make a recommendation to our board. I talked to the town of Vernon, Vermont, and they got 46 applications when they did a ad last year, or 2016. In addition, I'm working on developing a new personnel manual for the town. I'm hoping when we get a new town administrator, that will go off to that person and they can help us. But we have so many old policies. 30 seconds already. We have so many old policies and procedures that I'd just like to see us get up to date on all of that. I was born and raised in Pownal. For the older people in the room, my father was Art George. He served on the town for many, many years. He was on the select board. Alan Strobridge was my partner, and Norman Strobridge was also a select board member. So I love Pownal, and I'm trying to do my best to be a select board member.
Thank you, Suzanne.
Wow, I can't believe
Michael.
Michael George. I'm not a speaker either. I've been a resident of Pownal all my life. I served on what used to be the Pownal Center Fire Department for 20 years, working up through the ranks. During that time, I also helped out the rescue squad as they were together at that point. I've also coached and ran the Pownal Farm League, the Pownal Little League. I know there's parents here that I've coached their kids, and I hate to say it, but there's probably some kids here that I coached. But no, I've always been interested in stuff in Pownal. It's just my way of doing things, and I've been in past selectmen for 2 years. During the hurricane season there, when we had our 2 hurricanes, I was a town emergency management coordinator, which took in a great deal of paperwork and time, and that just because 2 days later the storm was over, but we were dealing with it for 6 months later, getting money for different projects and this and that. At the same time, I was on the board. I just enjoy Pownal. Like I said, I've been here all my life, and like to see things continue moving forward. We do have a lot of back projects that I think keep getting pushed aside and things not getting done in a timely manner. And it seems like this year there was a lot of uncontrolled spending. If you looked at the town report, there's a pretty good difference between the budget last year and the budget coming up. And you'll see it in November when you get the tax bill. Hopefully we can control that and put things back in sync here where we should be. Thank you, and I'd like to thank Rose and Friends of Pownal for inviting me here tonight.
Is Mrs. Jarvis here? Yes. Oh, there she is. Sorry, I didn't recognize you. Hi.
How are you?
I'm well.
Hello, everyone. I'm Anne Marie Jarvis, and my husband, Bob Jarvis, is running for Select Board. I have his statement with me that I will read on his behalf. My family has called Pownal home since the 50s and Vermont home for centuries. Over the last year, I've become more involved in town politics due to my concern over what I see as the growing divide between certain factions in town, as evidenced in the vision of the town plan, which has a lopsided focus on the arts. This mostly socio-economic divide has created an emerging culture that embraces the vision of a few over the needs of us, the silent majority. What I see is a massive disconnect between the needs of the working class and those that have affluence who are able to live here with financial security. Common solutions offered to struggling families are more state intervention, more social services, and more tax-funded grants. Not only are these solutions mere band-aids to the needs of our citizens, the expansion of our state and local government is killing our economy. Forbes ranks Vermont 40 out of 50 for economic outlook. Pownal needs jobs. We need large employers who offer not only entry-level jobs, but upward mobility, training, and the kind of stability that helps struggling families meet their basic needs with a level of dignity not available from government programs. A large employer will provide locals with more disposable income to be able to spend in local businesses. A small farm or food producer would have more opportunities to sell their goods when the baseline standard of living is raised and more people are coming to the area to work and live. Local electricians, plumbers, and carpenters will have more opportunity for work when families have the income to be able to upgrade their homes. More disposable income will also allow working families to be able to afford dump fees, beautify their homes and properties, and buy and maintain working vehicles. People struggling to feed their children and maintain their living situations cannot be patrons of the arts. When we try to improve our local economy by way of grants and government funding, we are using the tax money of these hardworking Vermont families. The till will be empty if we do not aggressively increase tax revenue through sources that will generate money, not just spend it. Our current direction is not sustainable. The proposed town plan has 8 requirements that large employers would have to meet to be able to locate in Pownal. These are not just requirements, they are barriers. These barriers make it highly improbable that any large employer would ever come to Pownal again. This ensures the only kind of employment available in town is low-paying with no upward mobility or benefits. This is detrimental to Pownal's struggling families who either need to move to access real opportunity or become dependent on welfare and subsidies. Pownal citizens must have a stronger voice and less centralized control over the decisions that affect them. The people who live here are the best equipped to choose their town clerk, how to run their local school, and what kind of businesses are allowed to exist here. We need to stop spending Pownal families' precious tax dollars and instead create more revenue that will allow us to take care of infrastructure needs here in town. In closing, I also want to take this opportunity to strongly recommend a no vote on Article 28 to keep the town clerk an elected position, and I enthusiastically endorse Julie Weber for that position. Thank you. If anyone would like to follow up with Bob or has any questions for him, his contact information is on these cards.
And there's the table over there.
Okay. Thank you.
Ron, son?
I'm Ron Bizon. Don't have much education, but got a lot of common sense. And that's why I argue a lot with the board that we have. I look at all things, how are we gonna pay for it? They call me Scrooge and everything else, but I look at it, how's the town gonna prosper? We don't have a lot of good jobs in this town. There's a lot of people that are on, and a lot of older people who are on fixed income. They can't afford more taxes. We're getting more and more people on a delinquent tax list, and I don't think that's a good thing. Now, and we do a lot of bickering and fighting amongst ourselves, which, as you can see from the paper this morning, they're trying to chastise me all they can, which is fine. I don't mind. I'm a big boy. I can handle it. But all I'm saying is I'm not a great speaker either. I don't have a lot of education. I got 12 years of education, that's it. And I'm in my 70s, but I got a lot of work experience. I worked in a factory with 13,000 people. You get a lot of ideas and you get a lot of thoughts coming out of that. And I held good jobs in this factory. Now, and I bring some of them qualities to the town. And I think we're doing a great job as far as we got good equipment. I think we got a good road crew. I don't think we need any more. I think we got plenty. But I mean, we've come a long way from the last 10, 15 years. We got nice stuff. I don't hear people complaining too much about the roads, which I'm for. I want the roads to be passable. But I also don't want people going to the poorhouse. Most of the people, when I grew up in a small town in North Pownal, worked in the tannery, worked in Warren Wire, they didn't make no money. But they had homes and they had cars, and they were able to keep them. And I'd like to see that continue. And I'm not a long-winded speaker, so I'm all done. Everybody in here pretty much knows me, I think.
Jenny Dawn.
Hi, I'm Jenny. I'm running for the select board 1 year term. My parents built their home here in Pownal in 1994. Shortly afterwards, my mom was diagnosed with early onset Alzheimer's. Her symptoms started when she was 48. She died when she was 69. At the time, I was just making the transition from life as a dancer to a successful career in stage management, working on 15 Broadway shows where I worked with countless different unions and types of people. My husband and I moved to Vermont to help care for my mom 12 years ago. I landed a job at Williams College in the music department. I overhauled the website, started a newsletter, and explored every free method of getting the word out there. The result was saving thousands of dollars and increasing the audience sizes by 30%. I then took over the negotiations with the visiting artists and lowered that budget by about 50%. While at Williams, I also joined several committees and fought relentlessly for staff rights, policies, and pay. About 80% of staff have second jobs at Williams College. And then I quit, and I was replaced by 2 full-time men. I quit so that I could care for my mom with a fabulous team. I am forever grateful to Pownal residents Lynn Stratton for her compassionate care and Jane Bisson for her medical knowledge and assistance. Then Dad died unexpectedly 2 years later, cancer 6 weeks from diagnosis to death. He left a financial disaster. I inherited tax audits and debt and a house that was threatened to go into foreclosure. So I turned their home into an inn, now called Karen's Place, after my mom. I used every skill that I had learned over the years just as I would on the select board: management, marketing, website design, budgeting, relating to and working with different personalities, communication, bookkeeping, accounting, and ironing sheets. I launder, fold, and iron a mean sheet. And I had the opportunity to employ and hire locals. Lynn never left my side. Other Pownal businesses and business owners leaped in: TAM, Jeff Miller, Mike Crawford, Rocky, and Matt. I now bring hundreds of visitors to Pownal. Once launched, I knew I was here to stay, by choice, by love of Pownal. I participated in the Empower Pownal meetings this past summer and found community that I had not had the time to explore. Community with ideas and passion and intelligence across all socioeconomic lines. As a small business owner, I joined the Economic Development Task Force and became the chair. We are working on various projects to promote our local businesses and attract new business to Pownal. As a citizen, I heard the cry for more networking, so I created a website listing businesses and business owners called the Pownal Business Network. You can check it out on the computer after if you'd like. People have been extremely receptive. So what do I bring to the select board? All of these skills and passion, a vision for always looking forward and keeping up, a more inclusive way of communicating, expanding on the fabulous town website and creating ways to make it more accessible, complete transparency with a flow of information in both directions. I also support the Planning Commission and the new town plan that will help provide more resources for the town and our local businesses. I will connect with regional partners like the Bennington Chamber of Commerce, of which I'm a member, and the Bennington County Regional Commission to learn about local economic development trends and opportunities for Pownal. Thank you.
Just to double check again, Brandon Jacobson is not here. And are you reading for Bruce Bartow?
It's going to be a stretch of your imagination. But I'm going to read verbatim what he wrote. He's running for the one-year term also. I would like to thank the Friends of Pownal for sponsoring this evening, Meet and Greet the Candidates program. And I am sorry that I am unable to attend due to illness. I also appreciate Rosemarie reading my letter. My top goals, if elected to office, are to try and reduce taxpayer costs and to encourage citizens to participate in community affairs. I would also like to help Pownal continue to support the process of becoming a model community through growth and realization of task force action plans. My personal interest is in developing more trails and rejuvenating the river to provide better recreational opportunities in Pownal. Regarding pressing issues, there is a need for better cooperation and communication within the town office employees and elected officials. Another pressing issue is the mold at the town office building. A big problem is to get the state to inspect the Lincoln Street Bridge in order to make necessary improvements. As for experience or education related to this position, I have been a selectman for 1 year. I have been in leadership positions on the rescue and fire department service in Pownal for many years. I have taken educational management and training classes with the state. Being a U.S. Navy veteran and member of the American Legion has provided me with job-related and continuing life skills. I have owned a logging firewood business and continue a part-time lawn service. I'm 75 years old, retired tractor-trailer driver of 32 years at Fairbanks Express, Hoosick Falls, New York. My wife and I have lived in Pownal 50 years. I raised my family in this community. Graduate of Williamstown High School, Williamstown, Massachusetts. My organizational memberships include Vice Commander of the American Legion Post 90 in Pownal, Master Mason for 43 years, Williams Lodge, former member of the Pownal Rescue Squad and Pownal Center Fire Department from 1968 to 1982. Former Pownal Little League coach. I received, along with my wife Caroline, the State of Vermont Governor's Certificate of Merit in 1994 for outstanding community service. I hope this information is helpful. A vote for Bruce is a vote for family values, honesty in government, professionalism, and transparency. Please vote on March 6, 2018. You can make a difference.
Thank you, Bruce. Tammy Soul.
Hello, my name is Tammy Soul, and I'm running for the one-year lister position. I've been a resident of the town of Pownal my entire life. This is a brand new endeavor for me, so I don't know if my skills are going to actually help me with the job, but there's training that I'm going to take, and I'm really excited about learning this portion of the job and this portion of my life. I've worked for 24 years for an attorney in Bennington. So I got my paralegal certificate. I think those kind of skills will help me with the job. And I just wanted to give a shout out that the lister position in Pownal is actually a 3-person board, and currently we only have just me running with no other people. So if anybody's interested, I encourage you very strongly to contact the select board and let them know. And really, that's about all I have. That was really cool. Thank you.
Cindy Brownell. You look surprised back there. You knew it was going to come to you.
It was inevitable. Well, I started out driving school bus for this town, for this school, and then I worked for 9 years in this building. And after that, somehow I got shanghaied into being on the school board. 18 years later, I decided to continue to run because my heart was with these kids in Pownal. I have a strong feeling we have some nonsense going on with the state. They want to take over. They want to send our 6th graders to Bennington. We don't want that. People move into Pownal because of the local school. Somebody has to stand up and scream and holler, and I figure I'm the one that I can do that. I'm just not ready to step aside and let this building with the children that are in it get shanghaied. I know they're trying. Some people look at it and say, well, it's helpful. It isn't. You have to really understand that a long, long time ago, someone from Bennington said, why would anybody care about what happens in Pownal School? And I never forgot that. And that was in 1980. And it stayed with me for the whole time. We're very fortunate to have the teachers that we have here. I am extremely pleased to have a board to work with that we agree to disagree. And we seem to get along well. And once you get on and you don't get off, you know you're doing something right. So I continue until I can give up, which I won't. I just want to stay on the school board. Thank you very much.
And Angie Rawlings is not here, correct?
No.
Because of a personal family matter. Right. Nelson.
And if you don't, you're going to hear about it.
No transparency. Tell you
two things. I've been serving the town for over 30 years. I've worked at RPI for 46 years. So that doesn't give you a close figure of where I'm in my 70s. That's where I am. And I prefer to stand if you don't mind. I was sitting back there trying to think of all the things that I've done while I've been here. Of course, I've been a Justice of the Peace, served on the Zoning Board of Adjustment, Planning Commission, I'm the Zoning Administrator, Select Board, Bennington County Regional Commission, MAU Board, SVSU Board. During that time, I've won several awards for serving the community. I won the State Planning Association Award for Citizen of the Year. I've also won the New England Regional Planning Association Award of Citizen of the Year. I've also won the BCRC Bogardus Award. So I've been contributing through here, but some of the things that I've contributed is, well, in the town alone, I have got grants for in excess of 22 million working with others when we did the sewer project. I've also written and done grants in excess of $100,000 for planning board to recreational things and other things working, and of course the board has to approve all these whenever you write a grant before you can even get it. So I don't want to take all the support for that, because if they didn't vote for me to do that, you wouldn't have got those grants. And basically, I said I was a manager, talked about the grants, but one of the things that you ought to know by now, by what I just listed, is I enjoy serving the town. I really do. It's part of me. You know, it's part of our family. It's just that it's in my blood, I guess is the best way to challenge. I love the challenges. I love the heated discussions on the board between costs and no costs items. But at the same time, I feel that we need to move forward in order to gain things for the community. Mr. Jarvis, I agree with. I think there should be large businesses in town, not just small businesses. You have to have a mixed community or it won't work. Okay? And I'm sure we'll be addressing that with the town plan. But back to the MAU, what I'm running for.
We've got a good record here, so don't mess with it.
Okay. I serve on the MAU, which appoints me to the SVSU as well. I serve on various committees. I was on the Negotiation Teachers Committee. I served on the IT1, budget, and supervisor evaluation, and et cetera. I'll stop. Okay.
Double clarify, just so there's no confusion in the family, Cindy is for the Pownal School Board, Nelson for the MAU Board. Candidates, you were great. You thought you were nervous. You did just fine. This is democracy in action. It's a great thing. I'm only 39, by the way. I forgot to. I didn't know we were supposed to. And one last note before returning to you. If you're interested in democracy in action and you have a moment and he's willing to hang out and talk afterwards, talk to Jim behind the camera for an interesting story.
I'd like to give a round of applause for all of the candidates. Now we need to work on getting the vacant positions to have this much interest as the other positions have. Before we break up, I just want to remind people, first of all, like Bruce said, get out there and vote, you can make a difference. But also to remind everybody that everyone has the opportunity for early voting if that makes more sense for you. And it's very easy. All you have to do is call Julie and ask her to send you a ballot, or go to her office and pick one up. You can fill it out at home and then you just drop it off at the office or mail it back. What? And they can vote in the office also. You can come to the office and fill out the ballot right there and then leave it there. As a Justice of the Peace, I monitored elections, and I had a few people ask me, how are those ballots counted? Julie gets them and they're stacked, they're recorded that person returned the ballot, and that entire unopened envelope is then taken to the polls on election day. And during the 12 hours that we're there, the Justices of the Peace open them up, separate the cover from the ballot so that you don't know whose ballot it is, okay? Then there's the record that that ballot was returned, and then those ballots are put into the machine and counted. So it's as safe as going to the polls and voting. We have informational table, candidates were invited to bring printed literature, and there's some available on the back table over here, just behind Anne Marie. And at this time, I think you did such a wonderful job of thanking people and setting the citizenship tone, that I'm just gonna say, give us about 2 minutes in the back to bring the food out of the kitchen, and please help yourself. And the real purpose of this evening now is for you to mill around with each other and have the conversations you want to have, okay? So thank you all for coming.